Welcome to a special birthday episode 44 of the Armchair Analysts podcast. I am your host, Johnny. With me always is my trusty compadre,
Ace.
Big Ace. We have a big birthday today. Aaron Rodgers turns 37. We actually sang just before the show started, so you guys won't have to suffer through that. But I mean,
Johnny saying I can't.
Yeah, your voice. You gotta hit those high notes.
My allegiance to the Vikings.
Nobody knows who you like. You don't even know who they're playing most weeks. I'm sorry. It was there. All right, but we do appreciate you guys coming back and listening to us at least one more time. Because if you're hearing this, you're at least engaged in this episode. So, Speaking of engagement, we're getting a lot of cool feedback from everybody on Twitter at AA Podcast. Check us out. Flame Ace when he doesn't know anything about his own teams. Flame me for being a blatant homer. Doesn't matter. We love to hear the flame or the love. Also, as always, we are found on every single streaming platform for podcasts. Check us out. And also, beautiful faces on YouTube. Now you can see my haircut. Actually did my hair today. Ace has his playoff beard as the Vikings turn the corner. It's a good time to be alive, right?
It's true.
The only thing that's not great, though, random rant time.
Take that one point. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Random rant time. So it's December now. It's dark before we even start recording. It's dreary. It's cold. But, birthdays haven't really been that great this year, right? No matter what year you're turning, it's been mostly crappy. I mean, December birthdays are pretty terrible as they are normally. Mine actually is when Hanukkah begins next week. But it's like, well, what do I do? Like, normally, like, nobody, at most, maybe we could get a few people together at a bar. For my 30th, my fiance threw, like, an amazing party. But, I mean, now, like...
I have 2 celebrations now.
Oh, what a day. But it's just... the best thing, though, is typically there's always a Packer game, a home game that's really close to my birthday. Sometimes on my birthday, it's, like, really cool. But, can't do that this year. The Packers just this past game finally had 500 people in the stands, but they're all associated with the team, whether it be family, press, employees of the Packers. So, I mean, they're getting there, but it's December. Like, why bother? I mean, the thing is, though, it could be -20. You could still fill Lambeau, right? Like,
and if you're the family of these athletes, anyways, you're probably getting comped anything, anyways. So it's like there's no vendors out. There's really
there's vendors. That's the whole reason why they did it, because they haven't had anybody even to test the POSs or anything. Like, no one's touched that stuff in months. So this is kind of like a dry run. So I haven't seen any official announcement. I'm sure my phone will blow up the time it happens, but that was just kind of like a dry run. Like, let's run people kind of through it and see how it goes. But I mean, it seemed to go fine. I mean, that game was wrapped up pretty quickly. So I mean, there was they didn't really stick around. But I mean, at the same time, you gotta hope that we're getting close to maybe possibly having fans. Hey, you know what? I'll pony up for a playoff game.
Maybe.
I don't gotta save for a wedding or nothing. Screw a deposit. Let's go to Lambeau.
Right? Or a birthday party. You want a birthday party this year, anyways, in 2020, right?
Boom. So
no party.
That as soon as it hit me that we're in December, I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? Right. But whatever. 32 is an insignificant year. No one gives a shit. So that's what I got for that. Do you want to get into like the amazing role the Vikings have been on?
For regional roundup, should we start with the Vikings?
Oh yeah.
Roll the thunder, just like Cook piling over every single defensive player that is on the Panthers, not the Jaguars.
He didn't have that great of a game, bro. Come on.
He
played a decent run defense, and he didn't do that.
Yep. Yeah, they held him up pretty well. Which now in hindsight, I kind of was googling and goggling over the offensive line against the Bears, but without Akeem Hicks in there, they're kind of a different team.
Dude, I was even saying that too. Like, I like to troll Bears fans as much as anybody else, but it's like it's kind of a hollow win when you got both running backs going for almost 5 a carry. I mean, that's the Hicks impact, and there's no denying that.
I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous because Cousins let us down with a drive after. So Chad Beebe caught the ball on a touchdown.
Dude, that was a grab.
He gave
after
up
the
a
muff
fumble on the punt return. And so they clearly redeemed himself there, which was fantastic for him.
Crazy
Cousins,
catch.
Of course, being clutch again. He's had some incredible stats coming over this month, and so I'm hoping he can carry that same momentum into December.
As long as he's playing during the daytime, sure.
But Bridgewater, yeah, right. And I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. Bridgewater at the last second, it's like, come on, back in Minnesota, how perfect would it be if he led them down for a game-winning field goal?
And the Panthers aren't the same team they were, though.
Yeah, he got him in position, but didn't make it. And think about it like this. The only reason that made it good is because they had 2 back-to-back plays that resulted in defensive touchdowns. I mean, so Bridgewater put up, 13 points, I think?
Yeah.
On offense? So they got 2 defensive touchdowns. That's the difference in the game.
But still, though, I mean, you don't have CMC. Like, Robbie Anderson, I don't know what happened to him, but he's just not been the same the last couple of weeks. The defense, obviously, is a shell of its former self. But I don't know. Okay, you've been the biggest Teddy fan. You've been a teddy bear lover your entire life since he came to Minnesota. I need to ask you, point blank, mano a mano, is Teddy Bridgewater overrated?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
I mean, when he came back in relief of Breeze, like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, Teddy, oh, what a comeback, what a player. It's like, he's playing on the Saints. Like, Taysom Hill had not thrown an NFL touchdown pass up until 2 weeks ago. No, 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Like, he ran for 2 before, so it's like, if a guy who's never, he can sit back at quarterback and he's never thrown a touchdown pass can win 2 games, I think Teddy can win a couple. So I don't know. Like, I understand that he's a fantastic dude, had a really, really gruesome injury, came back, still grinding it out in the NFL, much as our boy RG3 is doing right now for some Wednesday afternoon football. But,
that's right.
we'll talk about that later. But I don't know, man. He's not going to will you to a win. He's never going to be like oh my gosh, like, we're at this crunch time 2-minute drill, got to get a touchdown. Like, he's not that guy. But I mean, I think if the Carolina Panthers offense would be, I don't know, at least
he's still a little shifty.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he's still good, but it's like I wouldn't even put him probably maybe like 18, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny how much he's getting paid, but
hey man,
whatever the case,
hey, he's making more than us. We'll make in our whole lives. So
correct.
The Armchair Analysts can't get too conceited here. Hey, that's the name of the show. Right. Yeah, you're Gophers though, man. You're Gophers.
After last week getting canceled, we got to stick with Minnesota sports quick, and then we can focus on Johnny's.
I'm patient, buddy. I'm patient. I'm kind of with the Bears just crescendoing down into like a horrible flaming abyss. I don't know. I wasn't worried about them up until maybe like their 3rd or 4th win. I'm like, oh shit, like maybe this is like a team. And then the Vikings were just free falling to the depths with the Lions. And now all of a sudden, I mean, the Vikings are rolling right now. Even, I mean, not saying Chad Beebe's a threat, but obviously Jeffers having a historic year. Yeah, he's having a really good year. I mean, Thielen's doing his thing. The defense is kind of coming together a little bit. You guys got to play a real team at some point, but I mean, the Packers really haven't either.
Irv Smith and Thielen were both out, but to your point, the Gophers, like, this is think of what happened. You wanted us to talk about the Gophers, we couldn't even last 30 seconds talking about them because it's like, I don't know what it is, but our market is just not, especially Minnesota, does not get on board with the team. I think there's a small group, I would say, I shouldn't just generalize, but it's not as powerful. Like, you don't hear a lot of even local talk about them unless it's, game cancellation. So sadly, this season is going to be one to forget for them, unfortunately.
Which, it does suck, because last year it's like, you know what, dude, these guys, they're bringing the program back, because it wasn't super long ago that, the Gopher program, I mean, you guys were churning out running backs, you did great linemen, and now it's just like...
at the Badgers. In a way. I mean, we might have copied you, but or whatever the case.
Are you comparing your running backs to ours and our offensive linemen to yours?
Rod, a former Gopher, by the way, was a running back for the Panthers this weekend, Rodney Smith. So good. I mean, he was.
Look at that. You tied it back in. Yeah, that it does suck. I mean, because don't get me wrong. I think I've mentioned this a couple times on the show already. If it came down to it and the NFL didn't happen this year and I only got college football, I'd be all right. I'd be okay. But yeah, I can't imagine just having. I mean, because I guess it's kind of like pick your poison. Because the Badgers, it's like we'll always be good, but we're never going to get enough talent to be able to outpace like a Clemson, a Bama, Ohio State. Like we'll never have that kind of. getting
so
Graham
we'll never
Mertz,
get-
like that was
sorry, we'll never get
crazy.
The national coverage will be there, but like last year was the most we've had in decades.
Sure. I mean, and when it came down to the end of the year, it just didn't happen for you guys. So it's like, well, and then you had your best receiver opt out for the season. It's like, well, better luck next year. Cool. So I get it.
And then he opted out shortly. It was just.
Yeah. It's rough.
You want me to touch on the Saints quick before we?
Oh please.
Oh, the St. Paul Saints, we had on their TV broadcaster, I think episode 33, I believe it was. 33 or 34. It's right, one of those two. I don't. Good memory.
Maybe an odd or an even number.
John Aronson, and I'd like to touch base with him at some point. But so what's happened with the St. Paul Saints is that Twins, Major League Baseball, the Twins ownership basically contracted an agreement with the Saints ownership to now become the AAA affiliate of the Twins. It's the closest affiliate that is in Major League Baseball. So this was an agreement that basically took place with MLB and the Minor League Baseball Association, and it's unfortunate because it's going to wipe away over 40 affiliates for sure. They're going to reduce the number from 160 to 120 minor league affiliate teams, and they're trying to centralize things more in a hub sort of structure, which is why you're seeing the Saints, St. Paul being the AAA affiliate to the Twins. They're able to have back and forth with injuries and who knows with COVID to try to bring people up and make it a training hub here. Unfortunately, you're going to see that a lot more, which is going to impact small town communities. And it's going to, in a negative way, but it's also going to enhance the urban economy a little bit, hopefully, if they can get ball there, because that's where some of their money is devoted to. So it's sad to see the St. Paul Saints, basically the team is going to get torn apart, and who knows what's going to happen to those players. But and I guess in a positive light, they will be making more money, the ownership group. So
well, as long as the owners are getting more money. As long as the owners are getting more money, because is like the Bezos of the world. We want the people in power. Yeah,
right.
That does.
So I don't know how I feel about that, and frankly, I'd like to. There's a lot to talk about this, so I might even do something separate episode.
The Ace Cast. We'll have the Ace Cast. Okay.
It's a lot to digest into, and it's kind of interesting to find out that this whole agreement ended last year between MLB and their minor league, like whoever they're representing body. They ended last year, so it's just odd.
Damn.
All right, I digress.
Ooh, man, I just let you roll there, dude. Take a breath, take a breather. All right, so we can chat now about the real topic that matters. Hold on, so let me give myself a little pat on the back there, because if you recall last week, I was kind of hesitant with the game just because, you know what? I mean, there's been times the Packers look like world beaters, and there's been times where it's like they can't stop a nosebleed. So I wasn't super worried about Mitch being back in. The only thing that I was concerned about was the Packers getting back on track, getting back to the game plan, having LaFleur get everyone like, okay, you know what, Indy game didn't go our way, but the big thing that I pointed out was that this needs to be like a confidence game for the defense, right? Like this needs to be, you know what, we can stop a team, we can be a force, and home field kind of maybe it matters a little bit. And all of those boxes were checked. There were some they converted quite a few third downs, some longer passes, but by and large, like it was a market improvement. So it's good to see over the last couple of games that the defense is really coming through. And
they disrupted the heck out of Trubisky.
He
does it himself.
I was gonna say like a light breeze would do that, but I mean, they were able to string drives together, but at the same time, there were like 2 13-play drives that chewed up like 7+ minutes a clock apiece. It's like if you want to do that and you come away with one score, that's great because we'll put up 2+ scores in the same amount of time. So,
how many? Sorry, not to cut you off, but Montgomery, I saw the opening. I saw.
Oh my gosh, that
had like
run!
A 50, 60-yard run in the opening drive. I think 50, whatever it was. What he ended up with less than 15 carries. I'm pretty sure. It was. It may have been. I know it was going to be a shootout game.
They weren't running the ball. They weren't running the ball.
But I mean, in order to slow
that was just a blown gap assignment, and the secondary just not being there to make a tackle.
Yeah,
it was pretty fluky. But that was his best game probably since the beginning of the season. So, I mean, Cohen's been out, so I mean, it's been the Montgomery show. And trust me, I picked him up in fantasy because I'm desperate at running back, and drafting a Bears player also very, very painful, I will admit. But I want to talk about Rodgers' early birthday present. Tavon Austin was signed, and you know what? Yeah, he's 30. But the thing is, it's like ever since Swerve and Irvin went out, we have not had anyone in the return game. Having another person that can stretch the field, someone that can catch a long ball, there's nothing wrong with that. Rodgers' arc has been beautiful.
Right up there.
He's been tossing those rainbows all year, and I mean, everybody's catching them. Even MVS is able to hold on to these, so I'm pretty excited. So Austin was signed, but in order to make room for him, Darrius Shepherd was cut, and that dude, I don't know if you know his story, Ace, but damn, no. Let me regale you with the story. So you ever heard the term walk-on? This dude was not drafted. He was not an undrafted free agent. The dude was invited to camp, made the practice squad, and then made the team. Never was able to really string together a lot of great things, but I mean, dude, that's a story, right? Like, you literally put on pads, you run around in the camp, you impress, you make the extended roster, then you make the official 53-man roster, made a few catches, he played return man, had a really, really unfortunate fumble. He had a really unfortunate, untimely fumble in the Colts game, but so did MBS, but I mean, it just never really came together, but it's still like a really impressive story. So it was kind of sad to see him go, but it was kind of like with Kumaro, like Whitewater product from Wisconsin. Yep. It's like you want it to work, you want it to happen, but it's not there. So he was let go. Austin's in, and for the first time in his career, Aaron Rodgers has a number one draft or a first round draft pick to throw to. So.
Oh God!
Happy birthday, Aaron. This is and
this episode's an ode to ARod, apparently.
Well, we'll talk about the little MVP stuff a little bit later, but I do want to just quickly run down, since we're educated men. We went to school together. You know, we're fellow alums of UW Milwaukee, but I definitely want to just run down quick because we need some math, we need some stats. Got to sound smart. So,
yes.
Here are the statistical categories that Rodgers was leading the league in entering Week 13, and I'm just going to run through them. Just let them blow your mind piece by piece, or wait for the end to give your applause. Passing touchdowns, 33. Touchdown percentage, 8.7. Passer rating, 117.6. Red zone touchdown passes, 24. Completions on passes thrown over 20 yards in the air, 26, which has been a huge point of contention with a lot of quarterbacks who are just kind of dinking and dunking.
So 8% of his that was 8.7.
8.7 of his passes have been touchdowns. Passing yards on passes thrown over. So 26 completions for throws over 20 yards. The passing yards are accumulated to over 1,000 yards. Play action touchdown passes, which they were key on last week, he has 15. His passer rating during play action is almost 136. Touchdown passes when he's not under pressure, it's been all but 4, 29. Yards per attempt on third down, 9.8 yards per attempt on third down. Passer rating when attempting at 2.5 seconds or more to release the ball, 115. So the dude is on a streak right now. He is playing. You know what? After last year, the first year under LaFleur, it's like, yeah, we were winning, but it's like it's not the same when Rodgers isn't just slinging and having a good time. But now, the second year in that offense, second year of the offense being together, you know, dude, they are coming, and you know what? It's as most seasons, it's the defense that we're worried about. But it's nice to see him slinging and having fun there, even at 37.
That almost 10% of your passes going for touchdowns in the season. That I wonder where that ranks in a season all the time.
You got to remember, they're controlling the clock. They're running the ball, so he's not attempting as many passes. I mean, he's Burrow, who has like a season's worth of pass attempts in like half a season, just because the Bengals can't do shit. Like you got to keep it in mind too. But just wanted to eke those out to you guys. Great. But so this is one other thing too that I want to mention. So the Badgers actually might play another football game. They're playing Indiana in Madison, but I mean, I'm sure most people know Penix with that ridiculous ACL injury. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, he was literally running out of bounds, and I don't know exactly where it happened, but yeah, he's out for the year. So it's gonna be kind of a hollow win, even if they do beat him. But technically, they're still ranked, so it could be exciting. And Indiana's better than just the quarterback. They actually have a pretty well-rounded team, so that could be cool. Damn, that's a long regional roundup.
They're not gonna know yet, or they'll know soon, I guess, when that game's gonna get played.
What, the Badgers?
Is it officially?
No, yeah. They haven't canceled it. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
yeah. It's 2:30 on Saturday, but I mean,
some mayonnaise.
yeah, but yeah, Indiana's been a real surprise. I mean, Big Ten's always got a few contenders, but I mean, they're, I know the injury is going to be big, but they're still 5-1, and the Badgers are coming off a horrible loss versus Northwestern with 5 turnovers. So I don't know, man. Like people are kind of mailing it in, but I feel like it could be a difficult game. So we mentioned. Let's take a breath. We mentioned that we have Wednesday afternoon football, right? Now, why is that, Ace? Why do we have a game being played on 2:30 on a Wednesday?
I don't know. The NFL wanted more parity in this game, which wasn't going to happen anyways.
The Broncos played with no QBs.
Exactly. It's a catch-22. Like, no matter how you look at it, it makes no sense that they extended the games out, or they extended this game out, yet they forced the Broncos to play last minute with no active QB. So
maybe there's a theory behind it. Maybe there's a conspiracy theory behind it. Because, as we talked about on the show earlier this year, the NFL mentioned adding an additional playoff spot, an additional wild card, in addition to the one they already added to start this season. If they had to postpone, cancel, shift games. So there would be 8 total teams. And I don't know if you know this, but the Ravens, they haven't been playing so good lately. And this was before 23 players go on the COVID list. Mm-hmm. Maybe you realize, hey, like AFC's kind of tough. The Browns are looking good. Like, we're not going to get a wild card in our division probably. Your Harbaugh sitting there and you're playing some 4D chess, man. Like, you're thinking, let's get half the team COVID and let's figure out how we can get this 8th playoff spot. Because that's the only way that I can make this make sense in my head. Why they had to reschedule the game 3 times.
But the thing that didn't help, though, at the end is they're still playing undermanned. Like, you still don't have your starting quarterback. You're starting 2 running backs.
I mean, I haven't looked, but last I checked, the game was still pretty damn close. Because the Steelers always love to play down to their competition.
Hold up. It was 19-7 last I checked. I'll refresh the screen and we'll see.
Look at this. This is basically sports are now. Regardless, if you're trying to make sense of it, that's where my tinfoil hat time session is going toward. Because if you realize, hey, AFC North, you're probably not making a wild card. But if there's another spot, maybe you have a chance. Because they already pushed back the next Ravens game to the point where Lamar could be back for the next game. So you're probably going to lose to the Steelers anyway. So if you're undermanned, I mean, who cares, right? So you close out the season. I mean,
19-14.
See, there you go.
What a terrible product. Oh.
Right? Anyway, well, tinfoil hat time. That's not a real section. I know you wanted me to talk conspiracy theory, so I thought I'd humor you a little bit.
Well, that is a great point, and it kind of gets to an odd, I don't know, I know we have a tee-off topic, but it's like, how come that, what was going on in the NCAA's mind, or like the presidents of these universities, to decide that 3 weeks, you're out 3 weeks.
But that wasn't universal, because remember, Trevor Lawrence is only out for 2 weeks. Mertz was out for 3 weeks.
Oh, that was the Big Ten.
That was just the Big Ten. Maybe Pac-12 too, but that wasn't a universal, because they're self-governing. Like the NCAA only comes in when you're, selling autographs and shoes. But everyone else is kind of self-governing. So, do you want to brag about your amazing handiwork this week again with your clips?
Soundbite of the week.
Oh, soundbite of the Reek. Soundbite of the Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill. I mashed together all of his touchdown highlights into a cute
oh my gosh. And we had to put it in slow-mo just so you could see the little guy running. Because he's, I mean, I don't know if it's a self-proclaimed nickname, but Cheetah, he is aptly named. So let's take a peek at that.
You want a deep ball? Here it is. Hill for the touchdown. 75 yards. 3rd and 8. It's like 3rd and 1 for this team. Down the field. Who else? Hill at the 10. Cut back. Touchdown. Touchdown and a leap. Got a 2nd and 4, empty backfield, going for the big strike. He's got it. It's Hill again for the touchdown. And once again, victimized Carlton Davis.
Wow. You know, the crazy part of that is that only on one of those touchdowns did he really even have to try. Like, that last one was the only one where he actually had to make, like, a wide receiver move. The rest of them, Mahomes just hit him perfectly in stride, and his speed took care of the rest. I mean, you get maybe one chance to tackle him, and if you don't, right, later, bro. I mean, what do you have, like 260 yards or some crazy number? I played him against him in fantasy. Dude had 52 points. 52 points.
Yeah, you can't win in fantasy.
I did. I did because I had Derrick Henry. Boom.
Oh, he matched him. Wow.
Oh, no, he didn't. 38 to 52. It's PPR, bro.
Oh, duh.
Read a book.
That's right. That's an extra. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But
Mahomes, by the way, when you I think it was the first touchdown, the 75-yarder, when you see him set up in like a baseball and outfield stance, do the little crow hop and get ready to bomb it. Oh my God, the excitement just lights up because you know he's throwing a.
Yeah, you could tell he played baseball before football. You definitely. If you couldn't tell by his sidearm throws, there's other crazy trajectories he puts on the ball, but that actually goes into our TF topic a little bit too. So the MVP race, you know what? 7-8 games in, we already basically gave Russell Wilson the award. He's had some really rough weeks, look pretty mediocre against a really, really bad Eagles team. And now it's birthday boy versus Mahomes, I think. I don't think anyone else can really argue that. I know you're going to say Dalvin Cook, but unless he's playing the Packers and Lions defense every week, I don't think it's happening, bro.
And Bears to some degree. Yeah, you're right.
Bears without Hicks? Yeah, sure. I don't know. Do you agree? Do you think Wilson should still be talked about, or what are you thinking?
I mean, I think Wilson can improve himself toward the end of the year, but yeah, I think it's two-headed right now, and then Wilson could probably play. I don't know what Josh Allen's stats are, but if he wins out too, that guy is electric on the field. He's fast.
Turnover prone. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that deep ball isn't. I mean, it can be.
He's got, dude, but he has such an arm. Like he literally has a cannon attached to his arm, but it's just not accurate. Like,
well, yeah. So I think it's gonna come down to those three, and really, oh God, I mean, you kind of got to give. I think they're gonna give the nod to Mahomes, maybe if all things stay the same. But I'd like to hear your point on that.
I guess it kind of goes back to a previous discussion of ours when we're talking about, like, what is the MVP? Is it, because if I'm comparing apples to apples, if I'm comparing quarterback to quarterback just straight up, I mean, the numbers are very comparable, but I mean, I think I would probably give the nod to Mahomes. But if you take into account, like, the body of work and what they're working with, I mean, we don't. There's no Tyreek Hill. There's no Mecole Hardman. There's no Le'Veon Bell. There's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There's no Kelsey. Like, you don't have that. You definitely don't have Andy Reid's amazing coaching. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just, I don't know. I
think regardless, no matter if you put either of those QBs in any system, I think they're going to do well because they're just that talented.
Yeah. They're naturally gifted for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But I think the brains, the amount of years that Rodgers has had, understanding, he's one of the few that actually, his cadence at the line of scrimmage is so unique.
It gets annoying though. It leads to a lot of wasted timeouts in the first quarter. I think that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, like his ability to abuse the free plays and stuff, like it's second to none. I mean, they had a stat line about how many times, or his stats just based off free plays, and he's got over 1,000 yards and like almost a season's worth of touchdowns. Like, it's insane. It's because he'll just chuck it and like it'll work. And okay, so I will give Mahomes one thing. So honestly, you can probably, between like Devontae and Tyreek, you can cancel them out. But if you're gonna compare Kelsey to Robert Tonyan or Mercedes Lewis, I'm probably gonna have a quarrel with you. Like, I mean, and not to say our running backs aren't great, but I mean, Jones hasn't really had the same kind of zip that he had last year, which is rough because it's a contract year. So they're using him differently.
Do you think Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are better than Bell and Edwards? I mean, it's so tough to grade running backs, but I feel like both. I feel like the Packers kind of have an edge in that degree, but maybe it's. I don't
It's
know.
hard to tell. I mean, the Packers have only played a couple teams with a good run defense. The Colts being one of them, and that wasn't a great showing. So I don't. It's hard to judge. I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers had a couple really good years, but I love both of them honestly, and I'm kind of worried because it's a contract year for both of them because they were drafted together. So the odds of both of them staying are very, very limited, especially with Bach getting that extension. So I don't know. I mean, okay, so we'll cancel that out. So I mean, maybe it's a little closer than I thought. Maybe. I don't know. Are you gonna tell me that? Oh my gosh. Equinemius St. Brown and MVS, they're on par.
Sammy Watkins, is Sammy Watkins better than all of them? Probably. Who knows?
Everyone has their moments, but I think it's gonna be really close. And I mean, if Rodgers gets his third MVP, I don't really care. I know he'd rather have a ring anyway. So that's what we have our eye on. If that happens too, great. You know what? Third one's a charm. But I think we're all focused on the bigger things as opposed to little personal accolades.
I think winning the Super Bowl gets you in the Hall of Fame a little bit quicker than any sort of personal accolades. Well, unless you get enough MVP awards, I guess. But
I'm pretty sure Rodgers and Mahomes are probably already headed there. But I mean, what's another trophy on the mantle, right?
How much would you have bet if you said after Wilson won his first Super Bowl that he was going to win another? Would you do the same thing with Mahomes? Because doesn't that seem like more of a guarantee he's going to win a Super Bowl than Wilson at this point?
Well, Wilson right now. Well, so that's the thing. It's like Wilson had to win another one before he got his deal because once he got paid, they weren't going to be able to afford that defense. And you saw what happened. Yeah. Once he got paid and they had to re-sign everyone, the Legion of Boom, no, they scattered. You can't afford. That's the thing. You got to hit him in that window. And right now, Mahomes, they still have one more year in that window. I know he got his deal, but they're not feeling the repercussions of it because they were able to. I mean, they did some really good movements in the offseason for managing cap space. Plus, they already had a little bit of cap space to work with. So this is it because once contracts start coming up, and especially because the NFL already talked about reducing the salary cap this year too. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I don't know. Wilson was really good. I will never trust me. As a Packers fan, I've been scarred by that guy more than I want to admit, but you got to appreciate and admire what the guy can do, right? Especially with his offensive line the last 5 years. Jeez. Poor dude's running for his life. Looks like Carson Wentz out there, except he's actually good and can complete a pass.
Or freaking Derek Carr.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, my gosh. You mean David?
Or David, yeah, for the Texans. Or Burrow. Hell, you could even put Burrows in there.
Just getting destroyed back there, but no, it'll be cool. I'm excited. I'm not. It's nice to have him in the conversation, but as I've told you so many times, I like it when the Packers are under the radar. So drop one of the Colts and probably ending up with the second or third seed. That's not the worst thing. That Packers play good on the road, so I'm not super concerned. Especially you throw them in a dome. New Orleans, let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
I want to see it. Or think about it like this: if they've I don't know, they wouldn't play 49ers. I was thinking if somehow the 49ers got in, but they're going to be in Arizona playing games here. Do you think it's weird that there's an offensive player of the year and a defensive player of the year, but then the MVP, there's a defensive, should there be an MVP as well as an offensive player of the year? Because shouldn't that just be the offensive player of the year?
No, because that shows bias. You can't. You can't. I mean, it's always I think there's how many defensive MVPs that we had? 2. You can't.
Oh yeah.
If you say MVP and it's automatically off, which it is, it's probably going to be a quarterback, maybe a running back.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime, a defensive player, but most of the time it's going to be offense. But I think you have to keep them separate, just because I think the NFL wants to keep the illusion that teams can still play defense.
I mean, at some point with all these records, too, you're literally going to have a Hall of Fame that's literally devoted to, just pure stats and then Super Bowls. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's odd with the numbers that the quarterbacks are putting up, all that crap. And so how do you...
all right, then Eli's in his own just for Super Bowls then.
Yeah.
Because the stats, right? I mean, he's...
terrible.
They're not terrible, but, I mean, it's... I don't know. You're getting me off tangent here. We need.
Yeah, right.
You can't turn a tee off topic into literally anything you've ever wanted to talk about. You have my cell phone. Call me if you want. Call me, okay? All right, let's wrap this up. Let's get Ace's quick six. We'll talk about my huge victory and how. No, take it away, boss.
Yeah, you went 4-2 last
Feeling
week.
good, baby.
So now the overall head-to-head record is 22-19 and one measly damn tie. So that was Packers Bears this week. Week 13 prop bets. We're gonna switch it up and do 3 for the Vikings Jaguars. They play this week.
Hey, kitty.
And the 3 additional for the Packers Eagles.
So we're both playing really good teams. So.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Me first.
Yes, Johnny first as usual. So first one.
Birthday boy.
Yeah, right. This week alone, just this one. First quarter point spread -3.5 Vikings.
How is that the spread?
It's for the first quarter.
Oh, see, I don't know how to read. Thank you for that. I don't know, man. The Jags got fight, but they've just so broken down.
So it'd be.
Yeah, I'll take Vikings 3.5.
Okay. Perfect. The next one is first half over under 25.5 points. That's going to me. Who the hell? Because I don't even know who the heck's playing quarterback for the Jaguars, I'm going to say the under 25.5.
Oh my gosh.
They still have James Robinson, but regardless.
They do.
All right, race to 10 points. Who do you think is going to get there first, Johnny? Vikings or Jaguars? By the way,
I'm going to go Jags because Mike Lennon's at quarterback, and he's one of the greatest of all time. So we'll take the Jags. Okay. We'll take the Jags.
I like that. There wasn't a lot of prop bets for that.
Also, the Vikings, honestly, like either come flat-footed in the first half and blow it up in the second half with Cook, or correct. I don't know. That's hard, but it's in Jacksonville, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna give it to them. Yes, because they can afford to get at least one win. They can at least get one win this year.
I'm glad I didn't ask who's winning outright. All right, Packers Eagles first half spread. So the first half -5 Packers. You want Packers or Eagles side on that?
I just
wait. No,
one.
this is.
That's you.
Sorry, this is mine. First half spread. I'm going to take. I don't want to get stuck in a trap, but I'm taking the Packers on this. -5 is an odd number usually.
It's literally an odd number all the time.
Oh. Yeah, I'm taking the Packers -5.
All right.
Taking the points. Next one. Total points. Packers, just for the Packers, for the total game, are they going to get over or under 28?
I'm hammering.
28.5.
Yes, I'm hammering Packers.
Hammering over? Okay.
I have to be. I've just chugged Kool-Aid all week after beating the Bears, so I'm in. Let's go.
You know what? In that degree, I'm taking the over. So total points, Eagles 19.5. I'm taking the over on that one too. Why not?
Ooh, a shootout. All right,
I
will increase the lead. You can't change it now. Never send in the answer.
Here. I'm gonna lock it in.
Lock it in, baby. Boom. Locked in. All right. Cool. Fantastic. All right. So wow, we actually we chatted a little bit about everything. We didn't waste everyone's day, but thank you all for listening so much. We really appreciate it. The show has become I don't know. I always look forward to it. It's always fun.
Yeah. I want to follow up with that video idea of wrapping up the whole MILB talk. So.
All right, Ace is starting his own podcast. I might be by myself next week, but we'll figure that out another time. But yeah, episode 44. Thank you all for listening. Again, check us out on Twitter at @Podcasts. Anywhere you've listened to your favorite podcast, please give us a follow, like, subscription, rate, comment, send it to a friend. I know that we don't have Christmas, but Hanukkah's coming up. You know,
next week.
Share it. More people, the better. Because once we can start getting Ace some income from this, then he can get out of whatever house he's in with those crazy, creepy paintings back there. So, and also, of course, you can check us out on YouTube as well. So, thanks everybody for listening. I am Johnny. That is Ace, and we are out.